financial problems, elder law, criminal law, tax problems, business matters, divorce, personal injury, bankruptcy, your life, your reality. Life is complicated. There is the law and there is reality. Welcome to Law and Reality, sponsored by THAV GROSS. Now here's your host, Ken Gross.
Welcome to this segment of Law and Reality. Today's topic is how to save your home from foreclosure and eliminate credit card debt. I have a feeling we're going to be hearing a lot from, good morning, Brian Small.
Good morning, Ken, and yes, you will be hearing a lot from me today.
I have nothing more I want to say to you then. Good morning, Jeffrey Linden.
Good morning, Ken.
Pat Simasco.
Hey, how are you, Ken?
Good, thanks. All right, so I want to do this topic with a case study and work within it.
Okay.
Our clients are Jen and Rick. They're in their mid-40s. They have combined income of $120,000 a year. Let me give you some good things. Rick's back to work after being off work due to COVID shutdown. They have a nice home in Farmington Hills, market value $375, mortgage $350. They got $150,000 in an IRA. They got only $7,500 in cash in bank in terms of savings. Let me give you the bad things. They're behind 10 months on the mortgage. They took forbearance while Rick was out of work. Their mortgage payment's $2,600 a month. That means they're behind $26,000. They have $100,000 of credit card debt. The question is, what should they do? Now, before we ask Brian, I want to let you know what Jerry the bartender thinks they should do.
Oh, this should be rich.
Because Jerry is their first person that they get advice from.
Oh, wait, I want to just tell you something. I got a call the other day from a woman in financial crisis, and honest to God, she was calling me from the bar.
Did you ask to talk to Jerry?
No, I almost did, but she actually was sitting next to somebody that had seen our TV show and was telling her about it, and she called us instead of listening to the bartender.
Oh, so the person, the other patron at the bar said you should call Brian
yes,
and Ken rather than talking to the bartender?
I thought it was hysterical because she was literally calling me from the bar.
So I guess we should thank Jerry the bartender.
You know, when I first started doing seminars about Medicaid planning, I did them to the one group that knows more about you than anyone under the sun, Ken's hairdresser. So I did seminars to hairdressers because they know everybody.
They do.
So you need to start doing the bartenders on debt
Maybe
resolution.
we need to do it. Maybe we need to talk to hairdressers
let's
too.
hear about what Jerry
All
the
right, so
bartender
Jerry
has to say.
says cash out the IRA. You can avoid the 10% penalty because of the COVID rules. You take that $125,000, you pay off the arrearage on the mortgages of the $26,000. You pay off the credit card debt for the $100. You use the rest of the money up to the $150 to pay the taxes on the IRA, and you're done. You don't have to file bankruptcy. Your credit score is protected. Your mortgage is clean. Simple as can be.
Brian.
Now, do you like it?
Jerry's an idiot, but okay.
Now let's look at Jen and Rick's balance sheet after they followed Jerry's advice. Before they had $7,500 in the bank, they still have $7,500 in the bank. Before they had an IRA worth $150, now they have no IRA. Their house is the same, fair market value. Their mortgage was $350, now it's $324 because they paid off the arrearage. They still have $100,000 of credit card. No, they've eliminated the credit card debt. So now their net worth before was $82,500. Their net worth now is $58,500. But they've gotten rid of their credit card debt. They haven't filed bankruptcy, and they don't owe any taxes because they use the IRA to pay the taxes.
Right.
You don't like it?
Not at all.
Why not?
Well, let me ask Pat a question. Pat, if you had $150,000 in your IRA and you're 40 years old, and you didn't really do anything else other than minor
Invest it.
contributions, How much would you have when you were 70 years old when
God,
you wanted to
probably
retire?
have $500,000-600,000 at the end.
So how much would you have if you spent it when you were 40 years old at that point?
Zero.
Ah.
He doesn't have a pension, so he's relying on his IRA in his retirement years.
So what?
So you're saying there's a better alternative?
Oh, absolutely. There's a better alternative. What we need to do first is we need to do an analysis of their income and expenses so we understand what their opportunities are. Maybe they qualify for a Chapter 7 bankruptcy. They wipe out the credit card debt.
What about the IRA?
They keep the IRA if they qualify for a Chapter 7.
Would they keep the IRA if they filed the Chapter 13?
They could keep the IRA if they qualify for a Chapter 13.
Right, so
We have a
before
couple
we get to that, let me ask you, because Jerry raised a couple important things that they're worried about. Is if you go bankruptcy, what about their credit score? And what about the stigma that they filed bankruptcy?
What stigma? There's a stigma? Oh, the stigma that was...
People think there's a
people
stigma.
that used to exist when you in the 1970s under the Bankruptcy Act.
No,
Yeah.
the stigma that the credit card companies give you right now on TV
that's it.
because
So the question is here's will I
Haven't you ever heard the commercial? You don't need to file bankruptcy. You can settle your credit card debt. You're entitled to settle your credit card debt if you have $10,000 more of credit card debt.
Yeah, and that works for some people too.
hey, is there any tax debt in this scenario here? Do they owe any on taxes?
They don't.
Jen
at
and
the
Rick
moment.
don't have a tax liability right now.
But if
Sometimes they do.
you
Yeah, I
look
wanted
at
to talk about that.
you look at the big picture here, and they're concerned of, let's take the credit score question. Credit scores heal. They come back. So you might tank your credit score at the moment. But the reality for this couple is they don't have any more ability to get credit anyway. They have $100,000.
They're tapped out with their $100,000.
Right. So they've done, if you erase the debt and they have to live on cash, well, that's not bad because their credit score will heal in 18 to 24 months.
Here's the point that we sometimes talk about. You only need your credit score if you want to get credit, and if you don't need any credit or you can't get any credit, the credit score at that time doesn't matter. And what's the cost of a bad credit score? You might pay a little bit more for your car insurance until your credit score recovers, but that cost is nominal compared to the benefit of getting rid of the debt. And getting rid of the debt is they've got $100,000 of credit card debt that's costing them $2,500 a month in payments and $20,000 a year in interest. Let's take a break. We'll come back and we'll figure out what to do with Jen and Rick. COVID-19 presents a fight for our personal and business financial survival. You have to make choices. Cash is critical. Do you tap your retirement, home equity line, or run up the credit cards? You need the right plan to avoid being wiped out, and you need it now. You can't rely on the government or banks. Call us. We're the experts in financial crisis. We were here for you and your business in the Great Recession, and we're here for you now. We'll create a plan and get through this together. THAV GROSS will solve your problem.
Is the debt piling up? Struggling to get by?
It's all about preserving future income. Bankruptcy is one option. When it's right, it's the least costly, most effective way to save your home, eliminate a second mortgage, and wipe out credit card debt. But you need to address the problem now.
We help people with bankruptcy. Call the experts.
We're THAV GROSS. Our firm will solve your problem.
888-235-HELP. That's 888-235-HELP.
A lifetime of hard work. If you don't have the right plan in place, you can lose your home, your savings, and more. And you didn't come this far to lose everything. Samasco Law wants you to know that laws are changing. Today, the average cost of nursing home care is $85,000 a year. With proper planning, we can help protect your life savings and get you the Medicaid and nursing home benefits you deserve.
How much can you afford to lose? Call Samasco Law today.
If you're retired and in a financial crisis, there is a way out.
It pains me when I see a retired couple exhaust their savings by paying credit card bills and for a home hopelessly underwater.
THAV GROSS specializes in helping retired people in financial crisis.
You just can't keep paying until you're broke. You need to address the problem now.
888-235-HELP. That's 888-235-HELP.
We're THAV GROSS. Our firm will solve your problem.
You can't work. You have to deal with pain and stress.
Worse yet, our system for applying for disability benefits seeks to deny you the benefits you're entitled. Jeff Kirschner is an expert in obtaining disability and workers' compensation benefits for his clients. You need to call Jeff before you apply or after you're denied to get the benefits you deserve. 888-235-HELP. 888-235-HELP. Tax problems are major problems. Don't let the IRS levy your wages and seize your assets. There is a solution.
We're THAV GROSS. Our firm will solve your problem.
If you're behind on your taxes and owe money to the IRS, call THAV GROSS.
We've been solving tax problems for 32 years. We stop wage levies, resolve unfiled returns, and obtain the best possible settlements.
Call THAV GROSS today, 888-235-HELP. Carrying too much debt? Resolve your debt. Call THAV GROSS.
You don't need to be broke, and you don't need to hit rock bottom. If you have income and you're struggling with debt, dump it. Think about the next 10 or 20 years. If you do what the banks tell you, you'll have nothing to retire with. There is a solution.
Don't waste your future. Call THAV GROSS. We're experts at eliminating credit card debt. 888-235-HELP. That's 888-235-HELP.
We have a program. We've already developed it and put it in place, and we've been waiting for the rollout for the moratorium to go down. It's called the Eviction Defense Program, the EDP by THAV GROSS, and we've developed it and put it in play. But here's the big point, which you were making. You're going to get evicted if you're a tenant, and you need to get on top of this, and you need to defend it, and you need to do everything you can to protect your interests. And the last thing that you want to do is do nothing. All right, we're back. So you're saying that Chapter 13 is a viable strategy for them. Explain to me, how does that work with the $26,000 they owe on the mortgage? How does the credit card debt come into this?
So start off with the mortgage itself, the arrears. We have up to 5 years to catch up what they've fallen behind on. So they're $26,000 behind on the mortgage. So we're going to take $26,000. It's roughly $500 a month.
If I divide that by 60, it's exactly $433.33 a month.
Yeah, but there's additional costs and fees and things like that.
You mean for the trustee and so forth?
Trustee fees, there's attorney's fees, you
but
can
in terms
up.
of the catch-up point of the mortgage, that's
$433 a month. And the funny thing is that the mortgage company, because they've been in a forbearance, everybody's hoping when they come out of these forbearances that the mortgage company is going to put it on the back side of the mortgage, give you 5 years, give you 10 years, rewrite your mortgage.
That's what I thought.
Yeah, you know what's happening?
A
lot of people are getting this, well, you've got 1 year to catch up the 1 year you're behind.
So now your mortgage is double.
I have a client. He was given 1 year, and that amounted to an extra $36,000 that he had to pay. $3,000. He had to pay $6,000 a month. He couldn't do it. We've appealed it 3 times now, and they still haven't made a decision on it. But the result is I may have to put him with Brian to a Chapter 13.
So if it's the bank's job to loan people money, why aren't the banks just adding this on and charging the extra interest on it?
So here's the interesting thing. What they're hoping
to get the property
is
back?
that that's an interesting point.
That's back in the 20s.
The bank doesn't think that way.
The bank doesn't think that way, but I'll tell you something. With the home values accelerating at the moment, you can't tell me that they're not sitting in the back room going, well, if we foreclose on this house and this house and this house.
I'm going to tell you right now.
No, because the people get the overage anyway.
Your normal bank is not thinking that way. But you have to remember something. Banks and servicers are servicing loans for investors. The underlying investor can be a big conglomerate, or it can be a small portfolio of 10, 15 mortgages, and that particular person is sitting in the back room, like Brian says, saying, maybe I can take an advantage here.
It's a computer. If you're $1 off, the computer starts spitting off red flags and error, all the bells and whistles.
And the other thing is this. If you're the investor, you need to get that cash flow of that money in, because you're paying out dividends to the people that have invested with you. You need the cash flow. So sometimes the reason why the lender's not willing to work with you isn't always that they're evil and rotten people, which Brian would disagree with, but sometimes it's because they have obligations they need to meet, and it affects and it impacts
You know what?
them.
We talk about it from the tenant. Their
Landlord,
landlord's
tenant,
a
same
wrong
thing.
person, but the landlord's got a mortgage company they got to pay, and they're in the forbearance. So it's a whole.
So, but when we
up
go
and
back
down.
here and we look at what's going on with Jen and Rick, remember another thing that's going on with them, besides the fact that they need to catch up on their mortgage, they're $100,000 in credit card debt. What they've been doing is they've been borrowing on their credit cards so they can pay their household expenses because their budget is upside down.
Let's take a look at their budget for a second.
But that's why the economy's going through the roof, because they took all this credit card and bought everything in the last year versus
That's the
saving
conundrum
it.
always. Is
Yeah.
that the more people spend, the better for the economy,
Yeah.
for the global economy,
But for your
for the
individual
family
account.
that's
For
putting
Amazon.
themselves into debt,
Right.
it's not a good outcome. Well, yeah, because in Jen and Rick's case, their net income is $8,000 a month. $2,000 goes to taxes after their mortgage,
But
their
they're
credit card
spending
payments.
$10,400 a month.
Yeah, they're $2,400 a month short,
and their
they've covered
credit card
that
bill is $2,500 a month.
and that's why the credit card bill got up to $100,000. Now they're at the point they've got to do something because they're tapped out on the credit cards. The bigger reason, and more important, Brian, if you agree with me, the mortgage is a problem that needs to be dealt with from the standpoint of the 13 can resolve it, and maybe the lender will cooperate and come up with a decent repayment plan over 5 years or something, or tack it on. That doesn't solve their credit card problem. Their credit card problem is their bigger problem.
And
here.
the funny thing is, people think that they have to do the mortgage modification and ignore the credit cards, when the reality is we do mortgage modifications inside of Chapter 13 all the time. The lender is more apt, in my opinion, to work with you when they know that their credit card companies are getting nothing than when they're looking at the debt to equity ratio and all that other stuff that confuses them and says, well, how are you going to pay this when you still have $100,000 of credit card debt? When I can say to them, they don't. They have a bill of $167 a month in the Chapter 13.
There's plenty of money now to pay.
So let me pretend that Jerry just came into the conversation.
Jerry
'cause
the bartender?
Jen and Rick invited Jerry to come
Do
in.
we have a baseball bat so I can smack Jerry upside the
I'm
head?
Jerry. So, Brian, I've listened to this whole thing, and let me see if I've got it right. If they can make a deal with the lender and they say, like Pat was suggesting, they tack it on to the end of the mortgage, or they can pay it out over 5 years, and now we don't need a Chapter 13 bankruptcy to take care of the mortgage. Would you agree with me then that they should cash out that IRA and use the $100,000 to pay off the credit card
No,
debt?
I would
because that way they get rid of the credit card debt.
I'd put Jen and Rick in a Chapter 7 instead, get rid of the credit card debt that way.
And keep the IRA no
And
matter
keep the
what.
IRA no matter what. Never touch the IRA ever. Jerry is an idiot.
And just pushing the vein back in your head.
Wait a second. I'm Jerry. You're not. It's
Jerry,
not,
you're an idiot.
It's not polite to call someone
I don't
an
care.
idiot. That's not nice.
Okay.
Pat, can I talk to you? I'm
Tell Jerry he's an
Yes.
idiot.
Am I an idiot?
You got to stick with your profession, which is making mojitos, because you make the best mojitos I've ever had.
Let's put it this
Get
way.
this guy another mojito.
Let's put it this way, Jerry. This has not been the most correct you've ever been.
Okay, so
Possibly
bottom
but
line
the
is-
least correct you've ever
So the
been.
reason why you're telling me no, besides insulting me and hurting my feelings by calling me an idiot, is if I pay off the IRA, if I use the IRA to cash out the credit cards, then that money's gone.
We already talked to Pat. Pat said that how much will they have in retirement?
Millions.
Zero.
All right,
Zero.
let's
if
take
we-
a break and see how the Chapter 13 plays out for Jen and Rick.
If you're retired and in a financial crisis, there is a way out.
It pains me when I see a retired couple exhaust their savings by paying credit card bills and for a home hopelessly underwater.
THAV GROSS specializes in helping retired people in financial crisis.
You just can't keep paying until you're broke. You need to address the problem now.
888-235-HELP. That's 888-235-HELP.
We're THAV Gross. Our firm will solve your problem.
You're all set to retire. You have your home paid off, money in the bank, and sound investments. But if you're not careful, all the things that you work so hard for can disappear. At Samasco Financial, we'll help you prevent that. We go beyond ordinary asset management. will safeguard everything that you have by creating a plan made specifically for you. How much can you afford to lose? Nothing. Protect the people that you love and the things that you have. Call Samasco Financial today.
Tax problems are major problems. Don't let the IRS levy your wages and seize your assets. There is a solution.
We're THAV GROSS. Our firm will solve your problem.
If you're behind on your taxes and owe money to the IRS, call THAV GROSS.
We've been solving tax problems for 32 years. We stop wage levies, resolve unfiled returns, and obtain the best possible settlements.
Call THAV GROSS today, 888-235-HELP.
Time for announcements. So I want to remind our viewers to listen to us for Law and Reality Live on the Praise Network, Tuesdays 10 o'clock a.m., Saturdays 7 o'clock a.m., and on KISS 105.9, 7 o'clock Sundays every morning. Remember, you can always come in for a free consultation. We do them via Zoom conferences, teleconference, or in office with proper social distancing in place during COVID. Just call 888-235-HELP or go online and sign up. Debt issues with Brian, tax issues with Jeff and Brian, estate planning issues with Brian, business issues with myself, elder law issues with Pat, disability issues with Jeff Kirshner. Just come in, request a free consult. We're happy to help you out. Our free consults are not meet and greets. We analyze your problem, we look at it, we come up with the solution that you need to do so you know what the method and process is to solve the problem, what it costs, and what the time frame is. Easiest way is just call us, 888-235-HELP. That's 888-235-HELP. We'll get you in and go over it. We have free reports on the websites. Resolving Tax Problems, The Real Solutions by myself and Jeff Linden. Bankruptcy, Is It Right for Me by Brian Small. How to Save Your Home from Foreclosure. Business Formation, Loans and Grants for Small Businesses in Detroit and Michigan. And also The Retiree's Guide to Social Security from Pat Samasco. I want to thank our sponsors, THAV GROSS, Samasco Law, Kirshner Law. Now back to the show. We have a program. We've already developed it and put it in place, and we've been waiting for the rollout for the moratorium to go down. It's called the Eviction Defense Program, the EDP by THAV GROSS, and we've developed it and put it in play. But here's the big point, which you were making. You're going to get evicted if you're a tenant, and you need to get on top of this, and you need to defend it, and you need to do everything you can to protect your interests. And the last thing that you want to do is do nothing.
Is the debt piling up? Struggling to get by?
It's all about preserving future income. Bankruptcy is one option. When it's right, it's the least costly, most effective way to save your home, eliminate a second mortgage, and wipe out credit card debt. But you need to address the problem now.
We help people with bankruptcy. Call the experts.
We're THAV GROSS. Our firm will solve your problem.
888-235-HELP. That's 888-235-HELP.
All right, so we're back. All right, so Jerry is back at the bar. I'm now Ken, and you better not talk to me like you talk to Jerry. Jen and Rick. All right, so let's put their numbers up on the screen. All right, their budget, they had $8,000 coming in. Their mortgage payment's $2,600, their normal mortgage payment. They're paying $2,500 a month on the credit cards. Easy number. $100,000, average monthly payment 2.5%. That's $2,500 a month out the door. Utilities $400, cable, internet $500, 2 car payments $950, car insurance $250, gas maintenance $200, health insurance copays $600 a month. $1,200 in food, $300 life insurance, $400 miscellaneous.
So they're not living poorly. They just happen to be living outside of their means.
But their budget is normal, would you say?
Fairly normal, yeah.
Okay, so they're negative $2,400. Now you're going to put them into a Chapter 13. How's it going to work? What's it going to do?
So we, first of all, consider the way Chapter 13 works. We pay things as if it's falling down a waterfall. The one at the top gets paid first, right? Because it gets wet first. So what's the most important bill?
The mortgage.
The mortgage and the mortgage arrears. When the mortgage arrears is caught up, we go to the next most important bill. That might be an automobile. After that, if they happen to owe IRS or State of Michigan money, it would be the IRS or State of Michigan. And then the least important bill is
Visa and MasterCard?
Visa, MasterCard, hospital bills, general unsecured debt of any kind.
So in their case, there's not going to be any money for Visa and MasterCard.
Well, that's the beauty of Chapter 13. The budget that they have, which is the budget of most people, says that you really don't have a lot of spare cash. They have enough to catch up the house, and they might end up paying as little as 0 cents on the dollar to Visa and MasterCard. But at the end of their Chapter 13, Visa and MasterCard got 0. The house is current. The income taxes that were owed will have been paid, and the car is current, and they're out of debt.
All right, so let's look at the numbers.
And
So-
they still have their $150,000 in their IRA. Plus, since it's been a 5-year stretch, it's grown in value.
So let's look at the numbers. So during the Chapter 13 now, they're going to be catching up on the mortgage. So I added $433 on their payment to the lender, 0 to the credit card companies. Their other expenses stay the same. They end up plus $167, which I assume gets absorbed by administrative costs of the bankruptcy.
Yeah, during the bankruptcy, but at the end of the bankruptcy,
Now they're $433.
ahead.
They're $433 plus $167
They're
ahead.
$600 ahead
Ahead.
every month.
All right. So that's, and they've gotten rid of all the credit card debt for nothing.
Right.
Let me throw. You got time?
Yeah. I got to put one more slide on the board.
His dad's got cancer. He's about ready to die and inherit a $150,000 IRA from his dad.
So that's an interesting question. Because it's an IRA, will it be an exempt asset from in the bankruptcy or not? The answer is I believe it would be. It is subject to interpretation of the Supreme Court case.
And
which
it's a
is
planning issue.
It's a
Erratic
better
real
plan.
estate.
Because usually what I see is they go borrow $150,000 from dad to pay off the credit card.
Bad idea.
Bad idea. Or the IRA's at risk if dad dies now.
But if the IRA got cashed out and put into a trust, then the trust benefit had a sponsor position,
That's
then it wouldn't
the
be part
key.
of the bankruptcy estate. So there are
See how I
planning
bring it
solutions.
back to me once in a
Yeah.
while?
Let me throw out, so remember at the beginning I said Jerry's analysis was if you paid off the credit card debt and you cashed in the IRA, they'd have a $58,500 net worth.
Yep.
In the bankruptcy, during the Chapter 13, their net worth is $208,500 because they still have the IRA. After the Chapter 13, which is 5 years, let's assume that IRA only grew at 5% a year, nominal growth. Their net worth is $273,000. Jerry's plan would have given them a net worth of $58,000.
Jerry's plan cost them $220,000.
The Chapter 13 puts them in a position where they have a $273,000 net worth at the end, and they have 0 credit card debt. There's $600 plus in savings going forward. It's the difference between night and day, between solvency and insolvency in their future. These decisions are extremely important, and they need to be vetted properly.
You know
Last
why?
final word.
Jerry's an idiot. Listen to us.
Jerry makes a good mojito. Have a great week. We'll be back next week with Law and Reality at your favorite bar.